Good morning, guys. So I decided that I wanted to start a new series on this channel called Garden Notes, and this is basically going to be for me to look back on throughout the years and just kind of see where my garden was in previous years and how it was doing, how things are growing, things like that. So for reference, it is Friday, May 8th, and we are supposed to be getting a frost. It's supposed to be getting down to like 29 degrees tonight, and normally that it's weird for this time of year because this time last year I had planted all of my zucchini squash out in the garden 2 weeks ago, and we never had a frost after that day. So it's pretty late in the year for us to be getting a frost in my area. It's already like 3 or 4 weeks past our last expected frost date, so it's just really random, and I wanted to document that for future reference. Also, I want to take you guys along and show you how everything is doing. So let's just go do a quick walkthrough. So I have some squash here that are doing well. Like I said, last year I had already planted all of my squash into the ground, and this year I was procrastinating because my garden isn't finished yet. I had this whole area to work, of the soil to work, and I was just being lazy and not doing that. So now I'm glad that I haven't planted them out yet because they would have died during the frost tonight. So I still need to work this whole last little area of my garden because I decided to extend it out. My potatoes are doing really well, but I had to cover them up because of the frost, and I did a whole video on how to protect your plants from frost damage, so I'll link that below if you guys want to watch that. My sunflowers are doing really well. This is the tallest I've ever got a sunflower to grow, because the previous years I have in previous years they've gotten like mowed over or just died because they got overwatered or something. So they're doing really well this year, as well as all the ones in here. And then I sowed a whole bunch more in this little egg carton. Herbs are another thing that I've never been able to grow before, and they're doing really great this year. I tried sowing herbs so many times last year and they all just kept dying, but I've got all of my herbs growing really well in here. And then I have this herb tower with some things planted out. So we have parsley up here, we have some oregano, that is cilantro. The fourth pot down doesn't have anything yet, but I'm going to put basil in there. And then I have some sage on the bottom. I planted out kale and lettuce this year, which is doing really great in here. And then I have some in my vertical garden tower as well. One thing I've been having trouble germinating this year is peppers. I have a bunch of jalapenos that have germinated, but that's all that I can get to germinate. I bought a habanero pepper start, and then I have some bell peppers and cayenne peppers that I've been trying to germinate, but they just are not sprouting, and it's a little bit disappointing. So I'm having a lot of trouble with peppers this year. Also, a couple new additions are some yellow squashes. I have 2 yellow squash that haven't sprouted yet, but they definitely will be sprouting soon. So I'm excited to try yellow squash, as well as 2 little watermelon seedlings right here that I'm excited to try as well. These right here are the tomato seeds that I saved from last year's tomato plants, and they are doing really well. They should be ready to plant out in the garden pretty soon if the weather cooperates with us. And then I have this indeterminate climbing variety that I'm trying out this year. So I'll be trellising these up and they'll be climbing. And then all of the other tomatoes that I have are Roma tomatoes because I'm going to use them for canning and such. So I just have tons of Romas. So I went ahead and dug up both of my blueberry bushes because I kind of neglected them last year and they just are not looking very good. This looks like the only part of this blueberry bush that has survived is this little part, and the rest of this I think has died. So comment down below if I should cut this back or if that will damage the plant even more, because I'm not 100% sure what to do with that. And this one's looking pretty sad too, but it has a lot more greener foliage on it than the other one. So I just dug them up and repotted them, and I'm hoping that they will bounce back. This little one down here I think is definitely dead. There's no green on it at all, which is sad because I was really excited about this variety. This was the pink popcorn variety, and it actually produces pink blueberries, but I think it has sadly died. So this is my new blackberry bush. It's a Darrow blackberry, and I just put him in yesterday when I dug up this little guy. I put him in his spot. And then this is my blackberry bush that I've had since last year. I need to weed around him, but he's doing really well, and I'm hoping to maybe get like a tiny handful of blackberries off of him this year. My onions are doing really well, and I also have a couple of little garlic heads. So there's a garlic and there's a garlic right there. And then I have this little lavender plant that I put here, and a little sage plant right there. And then over here I have some rosemary. This is chamomile, and then there's a bunch of calendula planted around it. My strawberries are doing really well. So these, I bought all of my strawberry plants besides these two back here this year, and they're already producing really well. Except for this one, I put this in a pot that I've really painted, and I think the paint that I used actually poisoned the plant and killed it. So I put it in here hoping that maybe it will grow back next year, but I think it might be dead. Here, these I've had, this is my second year that I've had these, and they're really starting to take off and start blossoming. So I'm excited about that. So there I have Ozark Beauty. This one is an all-star. These two are also Ozark Beauties, and this one is a Seascape. And then I have my vertical gardening tower that has a ton of berries. I have a sweet berry in here. This kind as well. And there's just a ton of growth on those. And then in the bottom of the tower I have a bunch of kale plants, and I think these two are spinach, I can't remember. And then I have some different lettuces. I put a packet of mixed lettuce seeds in here, so there's like different varieties. Yeah, so there's that. And then in here I have some sage plants, and there I have calendula, and I just hang them on this pallet, but it doesn't get much sun, so I put these over here so they would get more sun. And then I have my carrot bin back here, and it's doing really well, so I should have carrots. And I would show you guys the potatoes, but they're covered, like I said, because we are getting a frost. But anyways, I just wanted to do this video really quickly to document the progress of my garden. So yeah, like I said, I just wanted to do this video for future reference for myself, where my garden's at this year and how I've been doing with that. So if you guys like this video, give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button if you want to see more. Thank you for watching.